ASVAB General Science Life Science Ecology Exam 2. Decomposers, bacteria and fungi. aka saprotrophs, they break down organic matter and release minerals back into the soil. Protista. Simplest eukaryotes, that is, their cells have nuclei, includes protozoa, unicellular and multicellular algae, and slime and water slime molds ancestor organisms to plants, animals and fungi. Many can move around by means of flagella, some are also photosynthetic. Commensalism. A relationship between two organisms in which one organism benefits and the other is unaffected. Primary consumer. aka herbivores subsist on producers such as plants, grasshoppers, deer, cows, and rabbits. Eukaryote domain. All living things whose cells have nuclei are in this domain. Almost all multi-celled organisms, including plants, animals, and fungi, are in this domain. Tertiary consumers. aka top carnivores, apex predators capable of eating secondary consumers can also be omnivores, lions, wolves, sharks, and humans. Phylum and living thing classification. Contains several related classes. Human beings, Chordata. Animalia. Produce energy by consuming other organisms, so they are called consumers. Can be either vertebrates, which belong to phylum Chordata, or invertebrates such as mollusks, arthropods, sponges, coelenterates, worms, etc. Human beings belong to this kingdom. Community of ecosystem. Contains many populations of organisms, with each population falling into one of several roles in the food chain. Kingdom and living thing classification. Contains several related phyla. Human beings, Animalia. Secondary consumers. aka carnivores or predators subsist mainly on primary consumers. Birds of prey, foxes, and snakes can also be omnivores that consume producers and consumers, chickens, rats, sea otters. Biosphere. Zone of planet Earth where life naturally occurs, including land, water, and air, extending from the deep crust to the lower atmosphere. Mutualism. A relationship between two species in which both species benefit. Parasitism. A relationship between two organisms of different species where one benefits and the other is harmed. Ecosystem. System made up of a community of animals, plants, and other organisms as well as the abiotic, non-living aspects of its environment. Tiers of living thing classification. Goes from broadest similarity, domain, to narrowest, species, 1, domain, deer, 2, kingdom, king, 3, phylum, Philip, 4, class, came, 5, order, over, 6, family, 4, 7, genus, good, 8, species, soup, 6 animal kingdoms. Munera protista fungi plantae Animalia. Biome. Major life zone of interrelated species bound together by similar climate, vegetation, and animal life. Plantae. Have ability to photosynthesize, so they are called producers. 4 major phyla, Bryophyta, or masses, Tracheophyta, which have vascular systems, gymnosperms and angiosperms. Producers, mainly plant life. aka autotrophs, they make their own food via photosynthesis. Orders and living thing classification. Contains several related families. Human beings, primates. Species and living thing classification. Contains organisms so similar that they can only reproduce with one another to create viable fertile offspring ex-human beings, sapiens. Domain. Only 3 domains of animal classifications: Eukaryota, bacteria, archaea, ex-human beings, Eukaryota. Consumers, most animals. aka heterotrophs, animals that consume other organisms to survive. 1. Primary, 2. Secondary, 3. Tertiary. Munera. Sometimes broken into 2 kingdoms, one belongs to domain bacteria and one belongs to domain archaea. Includes bacteria, cyanobacteria, blue-green algae, and primitive pathogens. Most primitive kingdom, it represents prokaryotic life forms. Cells of these organisms do not have distinct nuclei. Detritivores. Similar to scavengers, consume small pieces of decaying organic mat called detritus that are too small for most scavengers to want. Fungi. Includes mushrooms, bread molds, and yeasts. Fungi lack ability to photosynthesize, decomposers, break down and feeding on dead protoplasm, extracellular digestion. Hierarchy of food pyramid. Producers - primary consumers - secondary consumers - tertiary consumers. Genus and living thing classification. Contains several related species ex-human beings, Homo. Classes and living thing classification. Contains several related orders ex-human beings, Mammalia. Community. Collection of all ecologically connected species in an area. Scavengers, many insects and certain vertebrates, such as vultures and jackals. Exhibit characteristics of decomposers by consuming and decaying organic matter, especially carrion, decaying flesh. Ecology. Study of interrelationships between organisms and their physical surroundings. Family and living thing classification. Contains several related genera ex-human beings, Hominidae. Bacteria and archaea domain. Both contain single-celled organisms whose cells do not have nuclei distinguishable by metabolic and chemical differences. Population. Group of organisms of the same species living in the same region.